Hey everybody, it is Lauren deLisa Coleman, and I'm bringing you another hot interview during the Sundance Film Festival. You know you can get this type of content nowhere else but right here on the Inside series during film.io. And so I have with me my next filmmaker, Monia Chokri. Thank you so much for joining us. I was going to say congratulations, first of all, because I'm just always so excited, to be able to talk with you guys. I just can only imagine what it's like to work on a project for so long and then, have it in Sundance Film Festival.
Thank you.
So congrats and welcome. Monia has a film called The Babysitter at Sundance Film Festival, and it is a really, it just has a very cool vibe. So can you tell us, first of all, a little bit about the film?
Yeah, well, it's adapted from a play, and it's about a couple who has a new baby born, and I mean they have a regular and very pretty normal life, and something happened, like when the man in the relationship does kind of a non-consent gesture to a journalist, and after that, like all their relation fall apart, and something happened, like when a babysitter get hired. So the mysterious babysitter is going to change their way of seeing life.
I think that's a great way to describe it. So tell me how this story came to you, or you came to the story.
Actually, the play was written by Catherine Léger, which is a great screenwriter and playwright in Quebec. And a lot of people were saying you should meet because you have so much in common, you have the same humor and stuff. And she was looking for a woman of his age to maybe like direct some of her work. And so when we met a week before, I saw the play, and when I met her, I was like, Catherine, I think it's an emergency. It was like four years ago or something, and I was like, I think we have to talk about this. It's not a Me Too film, but it has the aspect of like how you position yourself as a male, as a woman. A hot topic right now, and she has this vision of talking about it while no one were a lot talking about it. I think she wrote it like 5 or 6 years ago, and I thought it was a great idea to adapt it in a screenplay, and she was already working on a screenplay, so it was meant to be.
So it just sounded like things came together very easily. I mean, but things aren't always like that, right? I'm sure it wasn't like that from beginning to end. What was maybe like the biggest hurdle that you guys had to get over to be able to see this film to its finish?
Actually, it was kind of easy because she wrote it pretty quickly, and we had the financing was kind of easy too. But then it was a COVID, so I think the biggest challenge was we were one of the first film in the industry in Quebec to go back on work. So all the technicality around how to shoot, how to interact with people was kind of very strict, and it was the most challenging for me because I had to like adapt my mise en scène while like we could like be a meter close to each other or stuff like that. So it was kind of a pretty good challenge, I would say.
I'm sure. And I think particularly Canada has been very strict in its, parameters around, COVID. So I'm sure it was even, more of a hurdle to get over. What are some of the things, I guess, that you learned about yourself or your team functioning under that kind of stress and pressure?
I always try to put stress out of my set. What I mean is like I think that, and I really have this position that making a movie is a privilege. It's not something like nice. you have like no one like I would say like it feels like sometimes director are like it's my work, and like I need to be like celebrated by everyone, and everyone has to listen to me. I feel that my job is more like a cooperative job. You know, it's not just my movie; it's the movie of everyone who's going to work on it. And I really try to be respectful and nice with my crew. So my biggest stress is always in prep. I'm super stressful in prep, but I'm trying to think of every details to be able to be in a joyful moment when I'm on
So like to have everything all prepared, like, you know, when you're having a dinner party, right? Everything all prepared so that the host can enjoy the dinner party with her guests. I love this idea. Like, you know, it's really just, like maybe even almost over planning, right? So that the production can go as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, and when you over plan, well, when something unexpected happen, you are easily able to change your to shift easier than if you're not exactly very prepared any sort of thing could happen, and a lot of happen when you're on a set, you know.
Right, that you can't anticipate.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure that this, you know, method of Monia came about because, you know, you've just worked on a number of different projects. I mean, I was just so impressed to be able to see that, you know, you guys, Monia has won a coup de coeur at Cannes, and so this is not obviously your first project. What really brought you to filmmaking, and I guess maybe more importantly, what makes you stay? Because it's not an easy process at all.
No, it is. I was thinking exactly that like 2 days ago. I was like, it's really so hard to be a director. Yeah, it's pretty hard because you work so much on a project for a really long time. You know, it's a big thing. You have a lot of pressure. You can work like for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, sometimes 10 years on a project, and you try to put all your heart in it, and it's a huge industry. There's a lot of money in this industry, so people are expecting stuff of you.
Of course, yeah. There's a lot of responsibility, right?
Yeah, a lot of responsibility. And then people look at your movie and in 2 hours, and then they destroy you like on the internet, and they're like I hate it. It's bad. She should like. It happened like when I did A Brother's Love, my first movie. Some people were like, some critics were pretty good, but some critics were like so hateful. It was like she should not like have a camera on his end. She should stop her job, you know. So it's kind of very, you can.
How did you handle that?
It's
just a shame to hear that because you know, and I'm wondering how you handle it, because just yesterday I was interviewing one of the filmmakers at the festival, or rather who has a film at the festival, and she's in Brazil, and you know, something similar happened to her, which was actually maybe even worse because they said her film was porn, and it isn't, because it has, you know, certain types of scenes and all that. So there was both inaccuracy and kind of hate on top of that, right? So how do you handle that? Because like you said, you have worked on these projects. You know, it's not fast, right? It's not like you just have your phone, you just upload it to Instagram, and, you know, who really cares? You're invested, you know, in these projects. So how do you really handle that? What's the Monia secret for handling these things?
I don't think it's a secret, but I think what I felt and what I saw with my colleagues too, some of my colleagues are great director. I think of Xavier Dolan, or like I have really great friends who were pretty successful, but they always also have their own haters, or like, so I always think the same. Like for Babysitter, it was kind of tricky because right now I see that everything is opposite. Like if like there's some people who says that I'm horrible and it's terrible and it's like the worst movie they've seen in their entire life, and some people says it's a masterpiece. It's a like she handles everything and it's so important as a masterpiece, whatever. So I think that the true is like somewhere between those things. It's not true that I'm a genius, and it's not true that I'm like a shitty director. director. It's just like, and I think my secret is just about work, like now I'm preparing my new movie, my new film that I'm going to shoot in September. And it's just like, I'm just focusing on work. And I always think of Robert Altman, because he, one of his interviews, someone asked him, like, you had like this kind of weird career when like you had like big success and big fail and stuff like that, and he said like, well, like I don't think my career is a success or a fail. I just think every time I do a movie, am I a better director for some reason? Like did I did what I was supposed to do to go to the next film, and just like trying to be better. And if the answer is yes, well, it's okay, I think. But it's kind of, it's not like, it's easy to say it like that, but sometimes I'm just laying on my bed and I'm just like, I'm a shitty director.
So I love how you are just keeping it real, Monia. I know that we can understand things intellectually, but when it comes to the heart, you're just like, oh, okay, today was just like really not a good day. And then other times it is. I mean, there's always that old adage about competition should only be with yourself. So as you said, being better than your last project. And we all know this, but we're talking about, emotions and art, and this is, it's not very easy. So I'm glad you could share with us, just what that's like, having been through, getting a few arrows in the back, as they say.
Yeah, and you have to relativize also like critics. It's not like they have all the right answer, and it's always about feeling, and when you're in a big festival, it's happened a lot that people are very virulent with you. I think it's important to just like think. One of my friends told me one day, and I think he was very clever. He told me like the people who likes it are right, which means that if you don't like it, just let it go. Like you just have to don't care about it and just let it go and some people's gonna get it, and they are right because they like it. And I mean, also for myself, sometimes I don't like some movies or some piece of art, right. And I'm just like, I don't care. Like I just pass through the thing, and some people's gonna say like, it changed my life, and it's good for him. It's just art, it's
well,
not
it's so true.
It feels that it's like a matter of like life or death,
right.
Some critics are like talking about a movie or something,
and it also depends on what one brings to it, what mood you're even in when you see the film a lot of times. So yeah, I'm glad that you don't put everything on what is said, but I just think it's cool for those who are watching now to hear your perspective with this. I guess just finally, tell me a little bit about the filmmaking scene there where you are in Canada.
It's a pretty nice industry because we are a few, like a small village. We are French. First of all, we're francophone, so
right.
It's a small part of Canada. We are like 8.5 million or something, but still we have like a pretty good industry because we do like probably like for 50 movies a year, which is great. Yeah. And our own like star industry, and like people are following cinema. We are not a cinema nation, which means that cinema is not like in France, or it's not that important, but it's kind of very like crafty and very respected. And which is very interesting is we have a very big and different panel of director. We know most of each other. We know each other, and we are very respectful for the work of each other and encouraging. And it's very different. So we have like huge comedy, we have like a drama, but every director has his own style, and it's it's a pretty interesting scene actually.
That's nice. Mm-hmm. So I guess finally, what do you hope viewers take away from The Babysitter?
I think I would love that people look at it as I looked at it as a viewer when I saw the play. So I mean that it's which is interesting with Catherine, is it's not Manichaean, so it's not black or white. It's not. There's no answer with this film. There's really no answer. It's just like she asks questions and through the characters, and it's after that like you have to position it yourself about like what you saw, which is kind of interesting because I think that we are in an era that we give answer to people, and we are very radical with our opinions. You know, it's
Very
like
true.
right or wrong. It's absolutely not what Catherine does. It's not like right or wrong. It's like, do you like? She's just like, it's like a philosophical question that she asked. Like, so I would love that people look at it in this way, instead of thinking like what I should think. You know, I'm not in this mood, and I've never been, and I would never like that. I don't want to give like moral or answer to people when I do movies, and it's the same for Babysitter. Even I haven't read it.
That's really great. I'm just so glad that you have a work in this year's festival, and I just wish you so much success and on your next project that you have coming up. You seem very like at home in yourself as a director, and I love being able to see that and support that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time, definitely.
Pleasure.
You guys, I hope that you have enjoyed watching this interview with Monia. You know we have more and more coming up, and I am so glad to bring each and every one of them to you. I am Lauren deLisa Coleman for the Inside series right here at film.io.